Welcome to Inside the Arena, powered by Arena Plus. I'm your host, Anton Rojas. If you haven't yet, make sure to follow Inside the Arena on all social media platforms and hit that notification bell on Spotify and YouTube so you never miss an episode. Now, before we get started, mga kaastig, we're giving away a total of 5,000 Arena Plus vouchers to 10 new users. So make sure to finish this episode and answer the question we posed to you in the comment section. At huwag kalimutang ilagay ang Arena Plus username nyo. Join na. Today, we are honored to be joined by one of the most iconic figures in the history of Philippine football. He's doing a lot of things, keeping himself busy, doing good things to push the sport forward. Let's welcome, I will say, one of the original members of the Azcals, Anton del Rosario. Brother, it's good to see you.
Hey, how you doing? It's nice to sit down with the better-looking Anton, you know? So, yeah.
You were the one in the billboards, bro. You were the one in the billboards. How have you been? I mean, looking at your Instagram, I saw you were recently in Hong Kong. How did that go?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, you know, work now takes me to meeting with different legends, different footballers, and it's good. I get to travel. I'm very blessed, you know, so I love the path that I'm on, and now it's just trying to figure out ways to be able to help football here in the country.
Yeah, and in one of my shows that we talked about Sevens Philippines. Now you're doing another thing, getting legends together. Exciting times.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I say, I can't say it more. I am very blessed to be able to do what I'm doing. God blessed me with football, and this is my way to be able to give back, you know?
Thank you for the time, Ton. So on this show, Inside the Arena, we're going to be talking to various athletes from different fields, different sports. Get to know them, get to see what makes them tick, their humble beginnings, and of course, what you're doing currently. But before that, let's do a little icebreaker. Let's play a quick game. We call this Over and Under. So, ganito yung mangyayari. I'm going to give you a footballer's name and the number of a certain achievement that they have. And you're going to have to guess whether they went over or under that number.
Okay.
I'm pretty simple, right?
All right. Very
okay,
simple.
Let's
go.
start this. Okay. Cristiano Ronaldo, 1,000 career goals.
Under.
Under.
1,000's a lot, man. 1,000's a lot, man.
Okay, so he had 870 official career goals.
Okay.
Yeah,
There we
so
go.
under.
I got that one right.
Okay.
Good start.
So from Ronaldo, we go to Lionel Messi. 6 Ballon d'Ors. Am I saying that right? Ballon d'Ors? I mean, I hear different things. It depends on if I'm watching ESPN from the US or Europe.
I mean, don't quote me on it, but it sounds right, you know? Right.
Okay. 6.
6. I think he's had maybe 6. I don't know. Is it 6? 7.
Over or under? Over
I would
under
say
6.
I would say oh, sorry. Over?
Yep, he has 7
There
as
we
of
go.
2023.
Okay. Nice. Okay.
Yeah,
See.
okay, 2 for 2.
2 for 2. Here we go.
Okay. Erling Haaland.
All right.
32 goals in one Premier League season.
I would say over.
Okay, so he did score 36 goals in the 2022-23 Premier League season.
Nice. Okay.
Bro, 3 for 3.
Yeah, well-
You're on a roll. Okay. This one's interesting right here. Kylian Mbappe, 14 World Cup goals.
I mean, he's what, been in only 2 World Cups, right? And 14 goals. I would say under.
Dude, 4 for 4. He currently has 12 World Cup goals.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're right. 2 World Cups, 2018 and 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I'm just like scoring 14 goals in 2 World Cups. That's pretty impressive.
We're
if that would
getting
happen.
an idea of how Anton's mind works and how he breaks it down. Zinedine Zidane, 165 career assists.
I'd say over. This guy's one of my favorite players, man. You know, hopefully I'm right.
The first miss of Anton del Rosario. Zidane recorded around 125 to 130 career assists across club and country.
Okay. That probably doesn't count the number of fouls that he got in the box to be able to get penalty kicks. So, okay.
How about Pelé? 4 World Cup wins.
I think over.
Under. Pele won 3 World Cups, 1958, 1962, and 1970.
I thought we were talking about games for World Cup win games. All right, I didn't know that we were talking about like the finals. All right,
That's crazy. 3 World Cups just to win it.
yeah. I mean, you imagine that's 12 years of different, playing time. That's his career because every 4 years is the World Cup, man.
Yeah, and you blink, you die.
Yeah, right. I mean, the lifespan of a football player isn't that long. You know what I'm saying?
Sergio Ramos, 32 red cards.
32 is a lot, man. But so I'm gonna have to say under. But this guy, I love the way that this guy plays.
So over, he has received more than 28 to 30 red cards officially. Total, including all competitions, is around 32 to 36.
Really? Maybe that's why I liked him.
Shout out to our researcher here on the show. Okay, David Beckham.
All right.
64 career free kick goals.
Oof. Under?
He scored around 65 total free kick goals, but official club international tally is closer to 55 to 60. So that's slightly under 64.
Okay. So did I get that right?
Nope. What about Gianluigi Buffon? 430 career clean sheets.
Wow. 430, I'd say. Maybe over?
Over.
All right, there we go. We're back. Yeah.
Buffon has around 500 career clean sheets, and that's the most in history.
Yeah, well, that guy's legend, man.
All right, another legend. We have one more. He was mentioned a lot during the Beckham Netflix documentary. Sir Alex Ferguson, 40 career titles as a manager.
Over.
Correct. 49 major trophies as a manager, mostly with Manchester United. So, hey, good job, brother.
I think I'm on the positive over there. Thank you.
We're gonna have to tally so we can see which athlete got the most correct answers sa ating over and under. All right, great job, Ton. All right. Now that we have had some fun, it's time to go deeper. This next segment is called Uncovered. Here we will focus on the journey of our guest, Anton del Rosario, the resilience, the drive, and the love for the game that has shaped his story. Hey everyone, welcome to our Uncovered segment. Here with my katukayo, kapangalan, Anton del Rosario. Let's learn more about how he became one of the most important people who kept the ball rolling for the Philippines in the football scene. Anton, let's go back from the beginning. You were born in Cali, right?
Yeah, I was born in the Bay Area. Yep, 1981. So yeah, I'm one of the old heads from the original Ascals.
So was football big back there? How did you first get into the sport?
No, I mean, football was definitely not one of the top sports over in the U.S., right? It was actually looked down upon over there. But I had my older brother, 3 years older than me, and we were very competitive growing up. So I saw that this guy fell in love with football, and I always wanted to be better than him. So that sort of kept me going in the sport, right?
Armand?
Yes.
Shout out to Armand.
Don't do that.
You're supposed to be the star. Okay.
No, I mean, so Armand was very much the guy that sort of inspired me to be able to stay in football, follow the sport, keep on pushing and playing, right? So throughout the years growing up over there, I would play 3 years older than me. So then I'd be 10 years old playing with under 14s because my older brother was there. And so I'd always try to hop into his training sessions, and I feel like that's what sort of escalated my game a little bit more, right? And from there, 1997, we ended up moving and relocating back out here to the Philippines. Ended up doing high school in Southridge and CSA. And then, and yeah, eventually, did a little bit of time in LaSalle. And all of that led me into the Ascals in 2004.
You mentioned LaSalle. So I want to ask about that because off the air, you were telling me that, or you were saying that your parents were influencing you to go to LaSalle, but then you had that tough choice of whether you would go there to play in the UAP or go back to the States. So could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not going to say I was the easiest child, you know? I was sort of like the rebellious one, the more independent one. So with that, my senior year of high school, I told my parents, hey, I want to go back to the States and I want to go, you know, do it myself. I'll try to get a scholarship and everything. And they said, okay. So 17 years old, I was on a plane going back to the U.S., trying to, you know, make it over there. Did all right for the senior year of high school, but then I didn't get into any universities that I wanted. So from there, I ended up coming back to the Philippines. And of course, football, you know, kept me going. So we would, you know, go enjoy at night. I took a year off of school. Well, I thought I was taking a year off of school, and I was training with LaSalle because my older brother was playing for the team. And so going to all these training sessions, Coach Hans, I don't know if you know Coach Hans Smith at that time, right? Main coach, awesome guy, love the guy. Shout out to Coach Hans. See, that's
Shout out to Coach Hans.
That's a guy that you need to shout out.
Yes.
Armand,
we
not so
can't
much.
miss that shout out. Coach Hans.
Right. So Coach Hans slaps me on the back and goes, yo, I signed you up for 3 classes. Go sit in the 3 classes. Bahala na, do whatever you want afterwards, right? But you sit in the 3 classes, you got to play uni games. I said, okay. So I went, sat in the 3 classes. Not going to say I never went back, but then I was able to then play in uni games in Dumaguete with LaSalle. Did a season with LaSalle and everything. At that time, we were actually a pretty strong team and enjoyed it. Loved it, but never really stuck with LaSalle. I ended up going back to the States in 2001 and doing junior college over there.
Was Coach Hans pissed that you left?
I didn't say bye to him, but he did welcome me back in 2004, so it's okay, you know.
Is that like a what if thing? Like, what if Anton del Rosario played for LaSalle in the UAP?
I mean, that would have been nice. I think we would have taken home a few championships, you know.
Probably one of the biggest what ifs now that you bring it up. Okay. Going back a little bit before we jump into the rise of the Azkals when you were called up in the year 2000, did you have like that eureka moment that I'm going to play football or I have a future in this sport, or was it always there because of your brother?
I mean, it was always there. You know, it was always my dream to play professional football, right? I'll still remember first year that I went to Southridge, 1997, 98. One of the, I guess, what is it? One of the teachers sat me down. They go, Anton, what do you want to be? You know, I told him, I want to be a professional footballer. I want to go to UCLA. I want to do all of this, right? Never went to UCLA, but I guess I did become a professional footballer, right? But it was always my dream to be one, and you know I stuck with that dream, and that's sort of why I did want to go back to the States, because there wasn't a platform over here for people to then graduate from college and play professionally, right? So I figured why not try to make it in the MLS, and that's why I kept on going back. So like I said, in 2000, I came back here, 2001, I ended up going back to the States, doing junior college, having to work 3 jobs. I was, valet parking, delivering pizza, and working as a trainer, right? But all of this, I was getting my school done and playing soccer at the same time. But I couldn't get into any of the universities that I wanted to. So I did 3 years of junior college, and in 2004, I said, well, let's go back to Manila. I'll play for the national team. And then from there, let's hope that takes me somewhere. So I got my first caps with the national team in 2004 with people like Ali Borromeo, Chris Greatwich, Chifi, Caligdong, Ian Araneta. And from there, that actually got me a scholarship to a university in the Bay Area called Notre Dame de Namur. So I ended up packing my bags, going back to the States, finishing up college over there on a full scholarship because of the Azkals and the national team. So, you know, very thankful for the opportunities given by the country. And then from there, I was always back and forth ever since, right? Because I was playing for the national team, it would take me back over here for tournaments. But then I was doing work and, you know, obviously going to school over in the States. But then 2009, because I graduated college in 2007, and there was a recession, big recession happening over there. So nobody was hiring. It was hard to get a job. So I was literally playing online poker and Call of Duty professionally for a year, you know? But then early 2009, I got a construction job and was working construction, and I just like, this is a dead end job over in the States.
You are a jack of all trades. Valet, pizza delivery boy, now construction. Dude.
You know, yeah,
Gamer.
I worked a lot of things. You know, I mean, life wasn't easy, but football always kept me going. You know, it was always there to keep me in shape. It was my therapy in a way, right? You go over there, you don't think about anything else except for just playing the sport and being on that field, right? But in 2009, I said, all right, let's go check out the Philippines again. Yeah. Ended up moving back to the Philippines and committed to the national team with all of the guys, Ali, Chiefy, all of them. And then the miracle of Hanoi and everything happened in 2010. And, you know, here we are later, 15 years later from everything. And, you know, we still get to say that we were able to impact and we're able to see what that whole year and what that whole tournament did for football in the country, you know, and I love it. Yeah.
So before we talk about your Ascal's career, I just want to ask this question because this is asked a lot when Phil-Ams come to the Philippines, basketball players. What's the difference between the style of play of football in America and the style of play of football here in the Philippines?
I mean,
like, is it more physical here?
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say the physicality is definitely what I learned over here. I wouldn't say the physicality and the dirtiness, you know? I mean, I'm telling you, like, when I first moved out here in 97 and stepping on the field, you know, I mean, they didn't take too well to Phil-Ams back in the late 90s. And so they thought I was like some mayabang kid. And so every time I'd be getting, you know, tackles at my knees, I'm telling you, even against my teammates, you know, in scrimmage, it had happened. But I mean, it made us stronger, you know. So then when I started playing with the national team, you imagine it was all the armed force guys. So I'm stepping on the field, and these guys, no chance would they allow a Phil-Am to come in and take their spot, you know. But it was good because I got out there early, and you know, I was able to build some great relationships with a lot of the players. And up until this day, you know, we see each other, we give each other hugs, and we call each other roommates and everything, right?
So you earned their respect by being able to overcome the welcome, the physicality that they were making you experience.
Yeah, I believe so. Plus, I started learning a little bit of Tagalog, so that also helped out, you know?
Pinaka-importante.
But, I mean, in the States, what was good in the States, it gave you that sort of mentality, you know, that mindset to keep on fighting, you know, working hard, and the athleticism, you know. That's very much what the States is sort of known for. Right when you grow up and you're able to start exercising and all at a young age, you know, 5, 6 years old, your parents stick you into leagues for basketball, baseball, soccer, you know, American football. And from there, I mean, you choose which sport you want to sort of dedicate yourself to, probably in your early teens, right? And so football was the one that I stuck with. So I think that really helped out, being able to cross-train a lot, and got me to where I was today.
All right, that's the Anton del Rosario story of how he got into football. So now that we've heard about how you got into the sport, how you came to play for us, repping the flag, let's go now to our next segment, Built to Last. So Anton, we've talked about the past, now we're getting into the future. And I think as athletes, one way or another, we hope that like your story becomes etched in stone. Now, before we talk about what you're currently doing, I want to ask, how did the miracle in Hanoi change your life and the entire landscape of Philippine football?
Wow. Giving me goosebumps just thinking about things, right? But I mean, that song Twista, Overnight Celebrity, it was that. I'm telling you, a group of us guys who have been with the national team 2004, 5, 6, 7, every time we'd step out and rep the country and rep the flag, we'd be the ones sort of paying our way to be able to come and play for the country. But at the same time, you wouldn't hear any noise about it. There would be maybe one reporter, Sadelf Tupas, who would be reporting on us, But nobody would talk about the Askals, right? And then in 2010, we step out onto the field in Vietnam. I'll remember, we play our first game, and it's crazy because the team's all together, but then we get this one guy, Chris Greatwich, right? He's been with the team forever. He literally flies in the day before our first game, right? From traveling, he's literally traveling the world on some honeymoon with his wife. And so we step on the field against Singapore. 92nd minute, we're down 1-0. Neil Etheridge lumps the ball forward, and then Chris ends up scoring a head goal to tie the first game, right? And we're just like, this is a great result. Our first result against Singapore ever. Happy days, right? Let's go into Vietnam. Let's try to tie Vietnam is what's on all of our minds, right? Just like there's no way that we're going to be able to beat them. We step out onto the field, 50,000 people watching, and I'll remember we score the first goal, right? What was it? Chris Greatwich, again, the guy who comes the day before the tournament, ends up scoring a head goal. I'm telling you, I cross the ball. This guy somehow hits his shoulder to go into the goal, right? It was crazy. It was like it was a crazy goal, right? So we go up 1-0, and then around, what was it? Maybe like the 70th, 80th minute, I look over at Ali because Ali's the captain of the team, my best friend. We've been playing football here since 97, 98. I look over at him and I'm just shaking my head like, shit, we're really going to do this, And then Phil ends up scoring a second goal on Vietnam in that 80th minute. And we're going to win this freaking game, right? So we keep playing, whistle blows, 2-0 win. Everybody's shocked. We're throwing up our hands. Everybody's hugging each other. Then we get on the plane to come back to the Philippines because, there wasn't too much press over there. And it's literally cameras in our faces at the airport. And we're just like, what is happening over here, So that overnight celebrity experience, really, it was like overnight. And then from there, what happened was we ended up going to Indonesia, unfortunately losing to Indonesia 1-0, but we had to play 2 away games because I think what sort of helped out at that point in time was it sort of came out some political stuff with the federation, right? And the president at that time wasn't the most straight. And he made us play 2 away games when it should have been 1 home game, 1 away game, right? So we had to play in front of 90,000 people in Indonesia twice. And we lost 1-0, 1-0. And now I think about it, I'm just like, imagine if we would have had 1 home game to play in front of our fans. We might have been able to beat Indonesia and gotten to the finals, right? But what was nice is that when we came back home from those Indonesia games, we were able to see a professional league like properly set up, start, kick off. And that then started bringing more pro teams over. That started bringing more pro teams over into the professional league. I'm telling you, a lot of international players started coming over here. But what was the best thing about it was, I'm telling you, like hundreds of academies popped up across the country. Literally, it went from maybe like 5 or 6 that were known to, probably 100 plus youth academies from Cebu to Zamboanga, Manila, everywhere.
Mad crazy ripple effect.
So then it turned into a whole opportunity for us to be able to set up a proper grassroots program to be able to create a pathway for them to this professional league. So, now we talk about it 15 years later, we still have that sort of structure and that foundation, but now it sort of needs to be tweaked a little bit better for us to be able to then make football a #1 sport over here,
2020, you started Maharlika FC. Could you tell us about how you built that up?
Yeah, I mean, 2020, interesting year,
Yep.
right? Pandemic comes around, and it's too bad because the Sevens Football League was blowing up. Had a good men's first division, and when it came down to the PFL, I got a phone call during the pandemic saying, "Hey, Anton, the PFL, we only have 5 teams. We need 6 teams in order for it to be considered a professional league by FIFA. Would you be able to put together a team?" I said, "Let me get back to you. Let me pick up the phone, hit up some ex-players." So got on the phone, messaged a bunch of ex-players, ex-national team guys, ASCAL guys, and was just like, "Hey, would you guys be down to play in a bubble for this new club that I'm putting together?" And I got yeses from most of the guys. And then from there, we put an announcement out saying, "Hey, we're looking at, taking on players. If you'd like to try out, we're going to be doing Zoom training sessions." So we would do Zoom training sessions 3 times a week during the pandemic. I'd have one trainer put everybody through a physical exercise for about an hour, and then we do like ball work, right? And so it was crazy. We had 60 guys for 2 months coming in 3 times a week training on Zoom, right? Yeah.
That was an era.
Right? It was, but it was great to see because you could see that people had the commitment. People were willing to come and play for free, right? Because that was my ask. I was saying, look, I don't have enough to afford to pay you guys, but if you guys are willing to play for free and try to earn your spot and then earn a professional contract to another team, we'll be that platform for you, sort of like a springboard to go chase your dream, right? And so from the 60 people, we cut it down to 10, cut it down to 7, 5. We ended up taking 4 people from the tryout to then join Maharlika. And that's how Maharlika was sort of born, right? So 2020, we had Maharlika. All of the guys and all of the team owners from the PFL thought it was just going to be a one-off thing. But I said, no, I'm going to keep this together. And 5 years later, Maharlika's there, but I ended up selling it earlier this year, right? As much as I love keeping it, because it went with my advocacy, right? I mean, coming from the States, it was very hard to make it, As I told you, I had to work 3 jobs, put myself through college, all of that stuff to be able to get to where I got to. But I wanted to be able to make that easier. So I would actually go to the States, do a tryout for Filipinos, Filipino Americans. And if they were good enough, I'd say, all right, get yourself a flight out to the Philippines. I'll sign you onto Maharlika if you don't get signed on to any of the other clubs. So I would do this once a year. And over the last 4 years, I've been able to bring 9 players from the U.S. to come sort of chase their dream, right? 2 of the players actually got called up for national team training camp. So I'm glad and I'm very, very, like I say, blessed again to be able to take what was given to me and be able to pass that along to others and creating these sort of platforms and pathways for them. And now, unfortunately, I had to get rid of Maharlika earlier this year, but there's a good group that's taking it on, and I think they're doing good things with it.
What about the youth? How are you contributing to helping young kids develop their football skills at a young age?
I mean, this is where, I gotta name drop Sketches over here because they've been able to allow me to keep my sevens alive this year, right? 2018, I'll take it back. During my playing time, I took some time off. And because I was missing the sport, there was a group of us that would play. People like my brother Armand, Nico Balzico, Dan Matsunaga, Freddie Gonzalez. We'd all go play 7-a-side football, 2 times a week. So we were saying, let's create something more competitive. So I said, okay, I'll put together a league. Called up 8 friends, said, hey, could you guys put together teams? Kicked off our first season in 2018. Did a second season, second half of 2018. And then after that, AIA, this guy, Leo Tan, comes up to me and goes, hey, Anton, we love what you're doing. We love your vision. You want to expand this into youth, women, men. We're going to support you. So AIA came in 2019 January, and that's when I implemented a whole youth structure to it. So from there, we had 60 youth teams every Sunday, yeah, coming and playing football from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. And we've kept that format ever since. So, yeah, almost 7 years now. Well, minus the 2 years of the pandemic, we've been able to create this platform for kids where we literally, well, just in McKinley Hill alone, we get about 700, 800 kids coming out. But then we also have partners, a great partner in Cebu, this girl, Jaren Labras. She does it over there in Cebu, and she runs a 7-a-side program and tournaments, about 3-4 times a year over there. Jael Soraya down in Zamboanga. We have Kemarabia from Bicol. We have Iloilo. We have Bacolod. We have, where else? We've done it in Davao. Shoot, I can't even remember all the locations.
That's amazing though. From calling 8 people to having youth camps all over the Philippines. And, this is an archipelago, so it's not easy.
Yeah, I mean, but it's great. It shows you, that there are a lot of passionate people for football here in the country. And this is why I say, bringing people together instead of directing, and dictating everything. If you bring all of the communities together, I'm like, when I say this, I think there might be more kids playing football in the country than there are playing basketball in the country. It's crazy when, let's say, my people in Davao and Zamboanga, they get over 70 teams to their events. In Cebu, I think they get close to 100+ teams at their events, right? And knowing that they all have these large communities in each of their cities, you imagine if there was actually a great pathway for all of them to be able to then chase it professionally, right? This is where I like to say, people from the private sector, all of the brands around, come in and put some focus into football. It doesn't take too much, right? Just a little bit of support would be able to be great for these kids all the way to the professional level.
When you start seeing billboards and posters, that's when you know that what you just shared has taken effect. When the brands start promoting football. All right. What about Asia Warriors FC? What about your experience there?
This is a good one. I mean, this is where, I'll keep on saying I am blessed with all of this because it's crazy what I've been able to do most recently, right? So from setting up my 7-a-side events over the last 7 years, I got partners and affiliates from different countries to be able to do 7-a-side football. And I pretty much set up like the Asia Cup for 7-a-side football now. But earlier this year, this legend footballer from Japan, probably a top 5 footballer ever for Asia, we got together, we sat down, we were talking, what can we do? I've known this guy for a couple of years now. He goes, what if we did a football program for legends? And I said, all right, let's do a legends team and let's create this platform for legends because a lot of players don't know what they're doing post-career. And this goes for every sport, even let's say basketball players, right? They don't know business, really. They live in a bubble of the sport, and the sport is what they know, right? That's why you'll see a lot of players get into, coaching, into technical directors of youth academies, starting youth academies. So we said, all right, let's extend a player's career through this legends team, but at the same time be able to help mentor them in business, right? So this was earlier in March this year, and by July, I had 25 legends from 11 different countries across Asia all come together, and then we ended up playing a pro club in Indonesia and then a pro club in Malaysia. And from there, we said, shoot, this is awesome. I mean, in a span of 10 days, we were able to get 150 million views, over 150 million views. And, it showed that there was a lot of value in here, a lot of interest. And we started doing more research on doing legends programs and legends games, right? And so from there, Keisuke and I sat down and we said, how can we build this out into like a proper business? And we said, it's crazy. There's never been a Legends World Cup before. let's create a Legends World Cup, because Legends, they don't have to deal with FIFA anymore. So they're not under the restrictions of not being able to join and participate in events like this. And let's get all of these different Legend stars to be able to lead their Legend teams for their country. So now I'm on this mission to be able to put together, pretty much a Legends World Cup in 2027. But then we have our next step, our first phase right now. We just finished up, of course, with this tour. Next year, we're looking at doing and taking our Asia Warriors team, which is, like I said, it's like an all-stars of Legends, right, for Asia, to play against an all-star of Legends from Europe. So it's crazy, like I say. I mean, I've been on a phone call with Puyol, with Rio Ferdinand. I was over the weekend, I was at a Legends game in Hong Kong for Manchester United Legends versus Liverpool Legends, and I'm sitting there having conversations with Steven Gerrard, who used to be like one of my idols, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I like saying everything that I'm doing, I feel very blessed about it, but at the same time, it's creating opportunities, and it's creating and fixing a problem, right? A problem that I see in my life. This is what I'm coming in and trying to do and fix for other people, right? And so with these teams are not just one-off games anymore. We're actually turning them into actual, like a Harlem Globetrotter, So it's these teams that get to stick around and will be there forever, because as players retire, we believe that they're going to be wanting to come play for our team afterwards.
What's crazy, Anton? I feel like after hearing everything that you've shared, what you're doing now, it's arguable that it's more impactful than what you were doing when you were playing.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, this is where being able to, and I thank the country and I thank the Ascals and everything for it, when you're put sort of like on a pedestal and you're influential in the country here, I believe, hey, let's use that influence and let's look and see how we can not just impact here in the country, but impact the world in a proper way, And if you get the right people on board, me working with someone like a Keisuke Honda to be able to be my partner in all of this, it makes things a lot easier, right? And it gets you into doors that you never thought you'd be getting into, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, and then it sort of opens up your mind on, different opportunities that are out there, right? I mean, that's why I really say, and I'm very godly driven with everything, that this is, I guess, my calling, and, creating this and using this pathway to be able to then not just impact the retired players, but to also impact the youth at the same time.
You never officially retired. You're 43 years old now. So we can't say that Anton del Rosario has hung up his boots already, but how do you want to be remembered? Like, when it's all said and done, what do you think is the lasting memory that you would like your fans and the people who have followed you throughout all this time to have?
I mean, I never like consider myself and look at myself like as a star or anything like that, to be able to be looked in that way, right? I've always just wanted to make sure that everything that I do and how people would see me would be, very straight, honest, and a guy that wants to be able to help out. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I like doing everything that I'm doing, is because I know that it's not helping me, really. Shoot, otherwise, I'd be probably working somewhere else and, making a ton of money somewhere. But by doing something like this, I know that it's going to help out a lot of other people later on. And that's where my head's at, and that's what I want people to remember me for, is a guy that's, never chose money first, but it was always figuring out ways to be able to help others,
That's awesome. And we have some fan questions prepared because I'm sure there are some fans who continue to support you beyond your Ascal's career, Ascal's era. And we're going to get to those fan questions in a bit. But before that, since you broke down some plays when we were talking about the miracle in Hanoi, I want to bring up this one free kick that you had. Let's get the views up for this. This was in Bacolod against Brunei.
Yeah.
You had the free kick, and like from the angle behind the goal, you could see the ball really bend. Could you break down that play? And was that the best free kick that you've ever had as a member of the Ascals?
As a member of the Ascals, yeah, I guess it was my best one.
35 feet out?
Yeah, well, about 35 meters is what they
Meters,
normally
okay, meters, sorry.
use. Yeah, no, I mean, when it comes down to it, I really wasn't planning on shooting that, by the way. I was stepping up, and you'll see I sort of hesitated because I was just going to chip it in, but then I had my teammates saying, shoot it. I'm just like, I'm 35 yards out. No way am I going to score this goal. And I hit it, and it went in. And that was my first goal ever for the national team. Being in Bacolod was amazing because it was a packed out stadium, and I always remember that. And it was, yeah. I mean, that penalty kick was, I guess, I wouldn't say life-changing for me, but very impactful for me.
Yeah, and you never forget your first.
That's true. That's true. So,
All right. Anton, I can already see it. I mean, you've built a beautiful legacy that will definitely be felt for a very long time. And I'm excited to see where else you're going to go, what else you're going to build as you move forward in life. So as I said earlier, we've gathered some questions around social media about football, and we're curious to find out what your own picks are for these questions. All right, let's go to the first question. I mean, this is pretty basic. I mean, who is your football GOAT?
Football GOAT. All right. Everybody, well, I mean, Messi is the GOAT now. I mean, he really is. I can't say anything. I do love the way the guy plays. He's very smart when he plays, but my favorite of all time would probably be Zinedine Zidane. Zidane, he was a magician. They called him the maestro, right? He played simple. He looked so graceful on the ball, and he could do everything, right? Except for when he did that headbutt on Materazzi, I mean, that reminded me a little bit of myself too, So I mean, maybe that's why I liked him so much, also, right?
All right, question number 2. Tiki-taka football or counter-attack football? Which one do you like more?
Ooh, well, I mean, I'm a guy, I like to be on the ball, and I like, playing. So tiki-taka football is always nice, but there's tiki-taka football with, an outcome in the end. But there's a lot of tiki-taka football without an outcome in the end. And I don't like that. I mean, if you're going to play tiki-taka football, you better have an outcome. You know what I'm saying? Where counter-attack football, I mean, what's nice about counter-attack football is it's nice and it's fast, right? Because if you're counter-attacking, you're waiting for the guys to push on forward, and then you're addressing their weaknesses, right? And that's really how we played as the Ascals back in the day. Very much counter-attack football.
They say football is the beautiful game, but how would you describe beautiful football?
Wow. Well, the beautiful game, it definitely is 100% a beautiful game, right? I mean, not any other sport do you have, 11 players or 10 other teammates out on the field, very little direction that could come from the coach from the outside, and you got to go 90 minutes straight. Well, 45 minutes straight, right? But beautiful football for me is, being able to slow it down, being confident on the ball, taking the disciplines and the values that you use off the field and applying it onto the field, right? Teammates, communication, working hard for each other. That's what makes it beautiful. And you could really see that, especially like, I'm not going to say with the Ascals, I guess over the years, but let's say like the Ascals now. The Ascals now, we got a young team, but you could see that they have that drive and they have that fight, which sort of reminds me of us back in the day. And, they got some poster boy type of looking guys that could actually push it forward. And I think, if the guys keep on working hard, if they keep on playing, not just for the flag, but for each other, stepping out onto that field and being able to want to die for each other, they're going to be going very far with the Ascals these days. Well, you can't call them the Ascals no more, by the way, right? I mean, there's a political thing that I'm gonna bring up. What the hell, man? You know, I mean, it's too bad that thing will stop, because the Ascals, it was like, it's what we were known, you know, and it's how we were known. And I wish that they kept that name all the way through, but I'll always call them the Ascals, you know?
Yeah, and I'm sure 100% you're not alone with that mindset.
Yeah.
Question number 4. How come left footers almost always have such a magical way of playing?
Oh, man. You know, I don't know. I mean, this is true, though. It's very true, which is kind of crazy. Left footers, their footwork and everything, it's always amazing. You know, you look at a player like Chifi Caligdong, right? He was a lefty, but he could use both feet, but you would see the way that he'd be able to go at players, very nippy, very skillful, right? And that reminds me of how most left footers are. Don't ask me why they're that way, because, I mean, I'm a right footer. But, I mean, I guess because left footers, normally they stick with their strong foot. They don't really use both feet, right? So then I guess they get a lot more comfortable and confident being on their one foot. I don't know, you know, maybe that's just one of the things.
Is it harder to defend left footers? Like,
Um,
how do you adjust to that?
Well, I mean, I play against left footers all the time because I would play right back. So then right back would be against like the left wings. And, you know, I mean, I wouldn't say it was harder. I would think it would be easier, you know, because, you know, when a left footer is coming at you, they're always going to go to their left foot, right? So then you would play them pretty much to their weaker foot.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is where football comes in, and football's not just 11 guys out there running, you know, a lot of strategy comes into it, you know, forcing a player to their right foot because you know that they're stronger on their left foot, you know, pushing them down the line, putting them on their left foot, but knowing that they don't have the pace to be able to beat you. You know, all of these things come into play when it comes down when you're on the field, right? So, yeah.
So this is the sports show type of question, online debate type of question. Well, actually, hindi naman pala. It's more of like looking at the future. Messi and Ronaldo. I mean, 1-2. People debating about who's the GOAT and all. Are you on Team Messi? Are you on Team Ronaldo? But which duo do you see taking over from them?
Well, I mean, I was lucky enough to see Yamal play, what was it, about 2 months ago over in Korea. It was Barcelona versus FC Seoul, and this kid was unbelievable on the field, man. You know, so that Lamine Yamal and then probably Kylian Mbappe are going to be the next futures of the sport, you know. I mean, you look at them, you look at the way that people are supporting them, you look at the way that the fan base is gravitating to the two players, you look at their skill level and their age and what they've been able to accomplish already at such a young age. They still have a great career ahead of them, you know? So those, I think, are going to be the two guys who are going to replace, you know, Messi and Ronaldo, where hopefully Messi and Ronaldo then come to, you know, play for my Legends.
Yeah.
Right?
There it is. There's the official invite. Any predictions for the World Cup, and what are your hopes for the Asian teams currently competing in the league?
You know, I've always been a Spain guy through and through. My mom's Spanish, Filipina, so it's always been the team that I supported. And of course, the second team would be Japan, right? So I really hope, well, you know, the team that I would like to see would be the USA. You know, USA, because I know how they set up events over in, you know, the States and everything. Football, if they do well in this tournament, well, it's being hosted in the U.S., I think it has an opportunity to be a number 3. I don't want to say number 2 sport in the country, but definitely a number 3 sport in the country if they do well, right? I mean, I was living in L.A. during the pandemic. I moved out there 2021 to 2024, and I put my son into football. And I'm telling you, you bring him out to the fields, and it's nothing but kids playing football out there. So you see that there's a big demand for football now in the country, and I'd love to be able to see it just bounce up to being able to be a top sport there. But, you know, like I say, my heart's always with Spain, and also Japan because, being Asian, it was the Asian country that we would support over here, right? So those would be my two teams, right? But Spain for sure.
Which club do you think would rise victorious in the El Clasico, Barcelona or Real Madrid?
Real Madrid, man. I can't do Barcelona. That'd be like, yeah, I can't go. That'd be like choosing the Lakers over the Warriors. No chance. Right? Can't do that.
Premier League, Arsenal early at the top of the table. Do you think they can finally bring home the league trophy this season and beat their rivals Tottenham?
I think they could beat Tottenham, but will they beat a Liverpool? No, I don't think so, right? Man City, I'm not sure how well Man City is doing, but Liverpool is definitely always the team to look out for in the EPL, I would imagine, So hopefully I like Liverpool. I'm not that big of an Arsenal guy, so I'm like, whatever.
Bro, thank you so much for the time. You shared so much. We were reminiscing about your beginnings, how you got into the sport, your ASCAL's journey. Talked a little bit about some politics, your businesses, your initiatives, and even brought back memories of your highlight with your first ever international goal. Answered some questions from the fans. Thank you so much. We're so glad that you gave us so much to talk about, so much to enjoy throughout your career, and you're still making a huge impact off the pitch. So I just want to say thank you, Mr. Anton del Rosario, for everything you're doing for football.
Well, thank you, and thanks so much for having me on here. It's always nice to be able to, share a room with you, my man. I love what you're doing for sports too. Keep on pushing all the sports side. It's amazing, right? We need more people like you being able to try and, even support football this way. So thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Like you said, my biggest takeaway from our conversation is we should be united. We should be uniting people, communities, and not being divided.
Yeah, very much so. So hopefully, I don't know, whoever needs to hear this hears it, and hopefully it helps out a little bit.
So as a parting shot to all of our listeners, all of our viewers, what's the biggest lesson that you have learned throughout everything you've been through in your life, and what message would you like to share to them?
Like I say, I'm very, very godly driven, so I very much trust the path that I'm on. I feel like, God blessed me with this. This is my way to be able to give back. But when it comes down to it, it's never an easy road. So, being persistent, being disciplined, and never giving up. That was really my mentality on the football field. And, now I'm being able to take it onto life, right? So, yeah, being a fighter, man.
Brother, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anton del Rosario here on Inside the Arena. Don't forget to follow Inside the Arena with me, Anton Rojas, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. At mga kaastig, i-comment nyo na down below, sinong pick nyo as the GOAT of Filipino football? This has been an Inside the Arena with Anton Rojas, powered by Arena Plus, rooted in trust, backed by legends, and always playing for the long game.